Close your eyes, not to sleep, not to dream, but to wage war. Behind those lids lies the most potent weapon ever forged, not of steel, but of synaptic fire. This is where the Wright brothers conquered gravity while pedaling bicycles, where Edison held the uncreated light bulb years before filaments glowed, where a shivering Walt Disney walked through cartoon kingdoms while drawing mice in a garage. They weren't fantasizing. They were architecting reality in the theater of the mind. Napoleon Hill called it mental rehearsal. Neuroscience calls it biochemical blueprints. I call it the sovereign secret, the ability to compress years of trial into seconds of mental triumph, to live your future victories so vividly that your nervous system can't distinguish imagination from memory. Most wander through life, reacting to accidents. The Titans, they orchestrate collisions with destiny. Let's shatter the myth. Visualization isn't positive thinking. It's precision engineering. When Carnegie envisioned vertical integration, he didn't see vague profits. He felt the heat of blast furnaces, heard the scream of trains carrying ore, smelled the sulfur of molten steel flowing like liquid capital. His mental rehearsals were so granular. When he acquired rival mills, it felt like déjà vu. Ford didn't imagine the assembly line. He walked its phantom length daily, adjusting imaginary conveyor speeds, feeling for friction points that hadn't been built. Edison's lab notebooks reveal the truth. Before any physical test, he'd mentally simulate 200-plus filament failures, inoculating himself against despair. These men practiced neurological alchemy, converting thought into physiological certainty. When you mentally rehearse lifting 300 pounds, your muscles fire micro-contractions. Visualize public speaking, and cortisol drops 17%. This isn't metaphysics. It's muscle memory for the mind. The masters treat their imagination like a military sandbox. Patton rehearsed tank battles in the Sahara dust long before Normandy. Lincoln delivered Gettysburg drafts to empty White House chairs weeks beforehand. Disney storyboarded entire theme parks decades before concrete was poured. Their secret? Sensory saturation. Don't just see your goal. Embed it. Hear the applause-specific pitch. Feel the weight of the trophy, exact grams. Taste the champagne brand's acidity. Rockefeller did this with oil deals. He'd mentally role-play rejections until his pulse stayed flat at no. Curie rehearsed isolating radium so completely. When her lab leaked, she smelled success in the radioactive decay. Your brain's reticular activating system is a filter. Program it with such violent specificity that it highlights opportunities invisible to others. Disney physically touched fake castle stones during mental rehearsals. Why? To anchor the vision in tactile reality. Start now. What does your conquered summit feel like under your palms? Not someday. Now. Beware the hologram trap. Most visualize like tourists snapping photos, passive, detached, spectating their own lives. Titans visualize like surgeons conducting self-transplants. When Lincoln drafted the Emancipation Proclamation, he didn't fantasize applause. He rehearsed Confederate outrage, abolitionist doubts, the weight of the pen signing death warrants. He inoculated against fear by pre-living criticism. Edison's mental rehearsals included smelling electrical fires and hearing glass shatter. Ford visualized factory riots alongside assembly lines. Their mental simulations included controlled catastrophes. Why? Because rehearsing only success makes you brittle. Rehearse adaptation. Feel the stumble before the stage. Taste failure's copper tang before the pitch. Then, rewrite the script. Carnegie practiced this nightly. He'd mentally lose his fortune, then rebuild from pennies. This isn't pessimism. It's psychological anti-fragility. Now synchronize with chronology. Mental rehearsal without a deadline is hallucination. Hill uncovered this. A goal is a dream with a finish line. But I'll weaponize it. Your rehearsal must run on biological time. When JFK declared the moon landing, NASA engineers didn't visualize someday. They rehearsed countdowns synchronized to real-time clocks. Rockefeller's mental deals ticked to pocket watch rhythms. Curie's radium extraction rehearsals lasted precisely 4 hours. Matching lab shifts impose temporal violence on your visions. Hear the second hand during your TED Talk. Feel the calendar pages tearing as your startup scales. Lincoln rehearsed Gettysburg with a stopwatch, 272 words in under 3 minutes. Your rehearsals must have a start gun, the first investor call, a backbeat, quarterly milestones, a finish symphony, the IPO bell ringing. Without temporal anchors, mental rehearsal drifts. With them, it becomes prophetic. The final evolution, from rehearsal to embodiment. Picasso didn't visualize paintings. He became the brush. At 15, he'd stand before mirrors for hours, being Velázquez, Goya, Rembrandt, until their genius fused with his circuitry. Ford didn't just imagine cars. He spoke as the Model T. I will democratize transportation. Carnegie rehearsed as the steel itself. I am the spine of nations. This is neuropossession. When Disney walked through imaginary parks, he didn't say, I see. He declared, I am the castle. I am the monorail. Your rehearsals must transcend observation and become occupation. Lincoln didn't recite the Emancipation. He vibrated as liberty's conduit. Edison didn't test filaments. He was electricity's avatar. Start today. Don't watch your future self. Accept the award. Be them. Feel their posture. Adopt their breath rhythm. Mirror their pupil dilation. Neural pathways won't know the difference. So stand before your mind's mirror. The reflection you see, that's not fantasy. That's prophecy under construction. Edison's first mental light bulb burned brighter than any physical prototype. Disney's castle existed in atoms of imagination before stone. Carnegie's empire rose in neural pathways before blast furnaces roared. Your rehearsals aren't escapes. They're reality in beta testing. Every neural fire is the event. Rockefeller proved it. When Standard Oil faced collapse, he didn't panic. He replayed mental rehearsals of rebuilding from bankruptcy until calm flooded his veins. Curie tasted radium's success so completely, radiation burns felt like victory scars. The world calls this visualization. I call it sovereign time travel. Your mind is the DeLorean. Your focus, the flux capacitor. Now punch the coordinates. See your empire. Feel your triumph. Hear your legacy. Then, only then, open your eyes and recognize the rehearsal was always the performance. The dream was always the foundation. The vision was always the first brick. Now build.